Willie Nelson High. You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put around here.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top.
Shut up, Lester.
You live in sexual anarchy.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Monday. By the way, this show isn't going to exist at some point in time in the next month or two. I know I've been saying this since like February. This show is going to become fucked up news. I already put out the clips on social media as fucked up news. I already go by fucked up news on several platforms like Twitter and TikTok. The Troll Patrol will be a show that we will do on Tuesdays and Thursdays after Fucked Up News. And I'll probably air it on TikTok because I won't be doing body cam footage and shit like that, so I can be on TikTok. Because, like, I see Parker over on TikTok. Is the emotes not working over here? What the fuck? No, they're working. Okay. Didn't seem like they all popped up on the screen. Me Cakes, T Minus, Warlord, Princess Kimberly, Quesadilla, Socialist Aunt. Welcome in, friends. T Minus, what state are you in? Wait a minute, you told me the other day you're going to Arizona. Have you already come back through Cali? You still in AZ? Because I remember telling you to listen to By the Time I Get to Phoenix. Sacramento area. And like, you're welcome, guys, for your stream streaks. I play video games on a different account now, so your stream streaks stay intact. Welcome, it's the Troll Patrol Live. We've got fucked up news to talk about. The United Kingdom has a new PM. You're gonna hear part of his speech from earlier this morning. I thought about carrying it. It was at like 1:30 Eastern time. I was still awake. I was like, should I get on the stream and do? Is it that important? Socks, please. Socks. It's usually Maynard at the door being a little dick. And Socks does this thing. He'll go over here and stick his claws in the trim, and it's like the worst. You're fucking up the trim. Stop doing that. Cats. Curiouser hasn't been in here and said hey to them, so that could be their problem. We got all kinds of fucked up news to talk about. There was a Nazi scuffle in Germany. This was the anniversary of a failed assassination attempt on Hitler, and apparently some Nazis tried to lay a wreath, and they got into it with some anti-fascists, the Antifas that all the right-wingers bitch about. I'm kind of scared, guys. I was thinking about it last night and all the parallels, the attacks on trans people, all the anti-communist and socialist rhetoric, because I'm in all these groups, right? That's how I've been able to get like even more traction on social media. I'm in all these right-wing groups, and they're just the dumbest motherfuckers talking about like communism's never worked, socialism never, you can't name me a socialist country that's worked. And like, hey, that's kind of correct, because the conversation is more nuanced than that. There's not socialist countries or communist countries or capitalist countries for that matter. The United States is not a fully capitalist country. You can't be. All economies are mixed economies. That's how things, it's just economics, and you have to talk about where at on the scale you fall, and also not conflate economic systems with authoritarianism. So some right-winger wants to ask me when has communism ever worked. I'm saying, well, it's a more nuanced conversation than that. The United States was the most prosperous when we were more socialistic, when we were building interstate highways, when we had a robust hospital system that actually treated people before we started letting it become for-profit. When we were putting people on the moon and developing new technologies, when we had literally what was called the welfare state in the United States, we saw the greatest expansion of the middle class in history. Now, people will argue with me, and they rightly so, correctly so, that not everybody in America benefited from what they call the welfare state. Absolutely. Black people in specific, natives, not benefiting from the welfare state. Any person of color not benefiting from the welfare state. And my response to that is, yeah, we should try those policies, expand them to everybody, and then we will see a new great boom, a new greatest expansion of the middle class in history. It seems really fucking simple. You can point to high tax rates in the 50s and correlate it with the expansion of the middle class, the reinvestment in our schools, roads, social programs. So I'm explaining it to these fucking morons, and some dude said, "Hey, Einstein," and went on some fucked up rant about God knows what. One of them, and I don't think this is the same dude, I'm getting them confused, but one of them started talking about how he and his dad were riding down the road, and he was talking about crackheads or something that would break into his house, and he would punch him in the face, and he was like, "Does that sound like communism to you?" And I'm like, but this guy was like, "Hey, Einstein," and I didn't read any further than that. And I went and linked into Einstein's critique of capitalism called "Why Not Socialism?" Something to that effect. I can't remember the exact title of the essay. Linked him to that. It was like, well, funny you should mention Einstein. And then, because that's not the first time that's happened to me. I've had so many right wingers, especially in the libertarian side, the Mrs. Institute, kind of fucking Milton Friedman, Thomas Sowell types, say shit like that to me. Be like, "Hey, Einstein." I'm like, well, Einstein was actually a socialist. And then you link him to that, and it's like, well, he didn't know about economics. Dumbest motherfuckers walking the planet. So I'm a thirsty boy. I just made tea. This is the first glass of tea I've had. I'm a hardcore tea drinker. I go through a gallon a day probably. I drink a shit ton of tea. This is my first glass of tea of the day. I had to go make some. That's why last night I was drinking soda on this stream. I don't usually drink soda. I'm a thirsty boy. I'm sorry. We had a dude. I'm from the South. Of course it's sweet. What kind of psychopath drinks unsweet tea? It's not super sweet. I like the flavor, and usually I'm drinking a flavor. This is actually just straight up regular tea. Usually I'm drinking raspberry tea or blueberry. I'm like, fucking Sparkles made fun of me. It was like, "You drink that pussy tea." I don't want that pussy tea. Unsweetened. I do not get it, Ducky. And also, welcome in, friend. I bug it, and it's not too sweet. It's not overly sweet. And I like lemon. I'm a fan of an Arnold Palmer, a half and half. Love an Arnold Palmer. And the man had a gigantic dick, apparently. We learned that, 2 or 3 years ago when Trump was talking about him on the campaign trail. Why was Trump talking about the size of Arnold Palmer's dick? Do you guys remember that? The Wolfpack like their tea too sweet. Do not like lemon in your tea. Interesting. I think it's excellent. I think it's a refreshing drink, especially in the summertime, ice cold. Half and half is excellent. But once again, I like the fruity teas. I'm usually, those, what is it, herbal essence? And they've got the sampler packs that have the blueberry and the cherry and the blah, blah, blah. That's usually what I've got. So I'm like, I switch it up all the time. I'm usually drinking a different flavor of tea. This is just regular. And I think Curiouser had bought me 2 or 3, because raspberry is my absolute favorite. I love raspberry. Give me a raspberry mocha from a coffee place. Raspberry tea. You go to Bob Evans and you get the soda jerk style tea with the syrup and shit. Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, after we got off stream, I forgot that we had like that blueberry THC. Like Curiouser shouted at me and was like, "Hey, you want a cocktail?" And I'm like, "No, I don't feel like drinking. It's a Sunday night." And she's like looking at me funny. I'm like, "Oh, it's the THC. Okay, yeah, the blueberry Sprite's what we did, I think." Oh, anyway, I've rambled too long. We need to get to the news. A man set off some kind of incendiary device. I'm not exactly sure what it was. To me, it looked like he doused gasoline on the steps and lit it on fire. But I've seen another report say it was fireworks. I've seen other reports say it was an incendiary device. So I'm not exactly sure. We're in the early stages of reporting. This happened, like 6-7 hours ago? For real, it happened like 6-7 hours ago. Maybe 7-8 hours ago. Many news outlets are reporting that he had anti-ice pamphlets on him, which cool. Okay. Apparently, the AP now reporting that he is a former soldier, so... Last night, I went on a tangent about not respecting a motherfucker in camo that goes into a country where he's not welcome and gets killed. I need to walk that back. Like, I would respect a motherfucker if you were in camo and you refuse to follow illegal orders and you don't go over and get killed. You stay here and do something like that soldier did, protesting on the steps of Congress, calling Trump a traitor, saying that he has violated his oath to the Constitution. Then I would respect a motherfucker, just to be sure, okay? I think soldiers could play a very important role here, but it ain't gonna be by being a bootlicker. And I ain't asking you to do anything against your uniform. I'm asking you to follow the Constitution. We're in a serious crisis here. Tom Homan says he's afraid ICE agents are going to get killed. And I love that I can show you that video and play it back to back with ICE harassing people. A woman in 2016 illegally voted. She's from Panama. Came here in the 70s legally. She was living in the country legally. And everything about it, she followed the process. She thought she was legally allowed to vote. She voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and got her ass deported back to Panama. Uh-oh. And I'm not going to gloat, but that is a great example of, the leopards eating faces party. The leopard isn't going to eat my face, I say, as I vote for the leopards eating faces party. Zohran Memdani saying an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court should be honored, and I agree with him. But this is causing an uproar on places like Fox News. As I've gotten the title, Trump is endorsing a crackhead by the name of Micah Lindell. This despite protests from the... Oh, shit. Wrong one.
I was on crack.
Right.
Gender fluid, Oregon gal, welcome in. Good evening, friends. Yeah, I had I was arguing with a dude on a friend's Facebook page. I have watched a friend slowly get radicalized, and she voted for Trump in 2016, and she is incredibly disgusted with herself about it seems. and very vocal about what is going on. And she's still got a lot of people from my hometown that are very much Trump suckers. And this dude was some religious asshole. And he go, well, I love everybody, but, you know, I don't think the gays should be able to get married, and I don't agree with transgender. And Obama caused the race war in America. I'm like, do you not hear yourself? You're the one dividing us. You're the one attacking gay people, being a bigot and being bigoted against trans people. He got really upset because he was like, his children are gay and he loves them dearly. And I'm like, no, the fuck you don't, if you don't want them to have the same rights as you. And like, I'm talking exactly like this. And my friend is seeing this. She DMs me personally. And she's like, you know, you win more flies with honey than you do vinegar. And I was like, oh, yeah? Well, here's the thing. You can't reason somebody out of a position they didn't come to reasonably to begin with. And the only thing bullies understand is standing up to them and punching them in the fucking face. So no, I'm not going to let you get away with your bullshit that you love everybody, you love your children. No, you don't. If you treat them like they're a different class of citizen than you don't fucking love them. Give me a break. How dare you do that in front of Riri and her fish?
Who y'all think y'all frontin' on?
Try to pull that shit on me. You think I just fell out of a coconut tree?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
My new GOP mommy, Darlene Graham, says she's going to be seeking a full term as senator from South Carolina. Trying to stop my other GOP mommy who wants to be the senator from South Carolina. This is going to be a tough one for me. A SWAT officer was shot in Chicago. We got body cam of police getting ambushed in Florida. Gonna catch you up on the Lindsay Clancy trial as jury selection begins. She's the mom accused of strangling her 3 kids. She's arguing that she had a psychotic break. Postpartum depression, all that good shit. The Tates appeared in federal court earlier today. We got sound from the lawyers for the Tate brothers. The merger between Warner Brothers and Paramount has been blocked for now. Meta facing trial in Tennessee. Wild weather hitting the United States. And crazy video of an airline worker threatening to call ICE on a passenger. All that and a lot friggin' more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Let's get to it. The United Kingdom has a new prime minister. His name is Andy Burnham. He took the reins of the Labour Party earlier today and by default became the new Prime Minister of the UK.
Andy Burnham is officially the country's new prime minister after he met with King Charles earlier this morning. The newly appointed Labour leader takes over from Keir Starmer. In his first speech outside Downing Street, Burnham vowed to break the pattern of his predecessors and, quote, do better.
Britain needs to show the world that we can regain our stability once again. And that is our challenge, to make politics work, to make it work better. I know people at home are fed up with politics. I hear you, and I want to be honest with you. We have not been good enough, and we need...
This is Andy Burnham, the newest Prime Minister of the UK. Fox called him a socialist. He is not. As I understand it, he is no different than Keir Starmer policy-wise. So I do not believe for a second that he is a socialist. Amptunes, welcome in. Warlord, head mod of the channel, also British, a card-carrying member of the Tories as well. What do you think of Andy Burnham? Please clue us Yankees in.
To be better. We will be. We will make this moment a circuit breaker for Britain.
NBC News International correspondent Ralph Sanchez joins us now from London. Ralph, good morning. So the 7th Prime Minister...
Oh, Ralph Dirty Sanchez over in Britain.
What should we know about Burnham, and what did we just hear from him?
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Yeah, so Andy Burnham said he is acutely aware that he is just the latest in what has kind of been a revolving door of prime ministers in this country. He said it is important for Britain to regain its stability, both for its domestic economy, but also for its standing on the world stage.
It's summertime, and it's been a heat wave, so I'd say it's about 4 heads of lettuce.
A little more likable, a little more human than your average politician. He's 56 years old. He's the former mayor of Manchester up in the north of England, and he's sometimes nicknamed the King of the North from Game of Thrones because his political heartland is outside of the Beltway here in London. If you
Sports cards, Keir Starmer has been caught up in the same BS that every prime minister is facing. The country is divided. They're suffering the repercussions of Brexit, and nobody can really fix that. There's been a stagnation in the British economy. The same sort of problems are existing here in the United States. You know, everything keeps going up, except for your wages. There's been a revolt against immigrants in Britain. The same sort of xenophobia that we've seen here in the United States. There's also Stalzim4. Welcome in. You're coming to us from the UK. You came while we were doing the UK news. Glad to have you. Please let us know what you think about Andy Burnham, and let me know if I'm off base. This is a Yankee that covers politics but does not keep up with foreign affairs as much as I should. So I'm doing my best to try to relay it to my American audience. So blowback from Brexit, the anti-immigration sentiment, the xenophobia people have been blaming for the stagnation in the economy. Then Keir Starmer was also kind of held responsible for appointing a cabinet minister who was highly implicated in the Epstein files. So when Thomas Massey Rokana forced the release of the Epstein files at the end of last year, one of the things that was exposed was what was that dude's name? Warlord. Claudia Bassinger. Our Alexa, he is just like the other Brits, suicidal empathy. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Big Hero, welcome in, friend. So it was kind of writing on the wall for Keir Starmer over the appointment of Sharia? I guess you mean Sharia law, which isn't a fucking thing. Like what? When people talk about Sharia law, just like in Texas, we've had people trying to pass laws to ban Sharia law, which is not a thing. What? I don't know what you're talking about. But it's going to be much sooner than the next 2 years. If the last run of 8 prime ministers is any indication, Burnham has 9 months, 10 months tops.
Will. He says that one of his top priorities is going to be moving power from London outside to other parts of the UK, but he's going to have a big task ahead of him as he tries to get what has been a pretty sluggish economy moving. Savannah.
Yeah, so that's obviously one of the pressing issues. Is it clear how much he's going to differ from Starmer?
Probably not a lot.
Good question. They're both from the Labour Party. It's a progressive center-left party. Burnham has indicated he wants to be a little more left-wing than Starmer. The reality is there isn't a whole lot of money for the government to spend here because the economy hasn't been in great shape. As I said, one of his priorities is moving power out to places like Manchester, where he was mayor. He says that these local authorities are in a better position to spend their money than national authorities. But he also is going to be dealing with the same crises on the world stage that Starmer dealt with, including Ukraine, including the Iran war, and the rising oil prices that are affecting economies worldwide. Span.
Raph, should we expect any drastic changes to UK-US relations with Burnham as PM?
Nah, probably not.
So Burnham has said that he wants to have a good relationship with the United States. He has been critical of Donald Trump in the past, but we spoke to a former British cabinet minister who served in government alongside Burnham, and we asked him what he thought Burnham's approach to the president would be. Take a listen.
I think he will get on well with Donald Trump because he's a good conversationalist, you know, and he's also very good at thinking on his feet. I mean, the thing,
didn't know David Bowie was still alive.
You know what he's going to say, and sometimes if you're not a kind of flexible politician who can think on your feet, you get it
looking
wrong.
Pretty good.
He will be able to think on his feet, and he'll be able to react with whatever Donald Trump throws at him.
So whether Andy Burnham can strike up a warm relationship with Donald Trump remains to be seen. Traditionally, the new British Prime Minister has spoken to the U.S. president within a couple of hours. We will see if that happens. The president, who has been critical of Burnham in the past, did have some warm words for him last night, because it does sound like Burnham is going to allow for more oil drilling in the waters off of Scotland, which is
great.
the president supports.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay
Shut up, Tom Llama.
And top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
7 Heavy Steel, welcome in, my friend. Most distinctive is trying to challenge is regional inequality. Historically, London and Southeast England tends to get the lion's share of investment and spending. Indeed. Well, the North is where like all the mining and shit is, right? Which is probably producing most of the actual wealth. Same thing here in the United States. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. They exploited our resources and then sent all the money elsewhere. I'm still interested what the people on YouTube was talking about, like Amp Tunes. Who in the fucking UK is pushing for Sharia law? Like, I am certain that anyone that's asking me about Sharia law doesn't actually pay attention to politics. Instead is informed by idiots on social media. And, you know, I'm including myself. I'm one of those idiots on social media. But I try to keep people informed. I try to keep an open mind. Oh, that's also, I need to correct myself from last night. I asked if Ron DeSantis had welcomed Andrew Tate to Florida. And someone in the chat had said that he did and verified me on that one. But it was actually the opposite. Ron DeSantis asked Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers not to come to Florida. Said there was no room for that behavior there. Somebody in the comments on the video. Because, like, fucking my videos, they do good numbers now. So, like, fucking people keep me honest on my videos. They pointed out that I was wrong on that one. I absolutely was. There were multiple Republican organizations in Florida that did say that the Tates were welcome, including the Tampa Bay Young Republicans. But Ron DeSantis actually gave a press conference telling the Tate brothers to get the fuck out. So, good on DeSantis, I guess. Felt like there was something else I also needed to... It wasn't something I got wrong. It was just a piece of information that I learned I wanted to add to something, and don't remember what it was at this point. Maybe I'll think about it. Maybe it'll come to me. We're going to go to Germany, where today was the anniversary of a failed assassination plot against Hitler. Some Nazis from Germany's AfD party, who our vice president went over and supported in their last election. Keep that in mind. They hate being called Nazis. These Nazis went to lay a wreath in honor of Hitler, and a fight broke out because you're supposed to punch Nazis. Descendants of the Nazi resistance confronted security.
Die hat hier nichts verloren. Ja, das ist eine faschistische Partei.
She is definitely calling them a fascist.
Sie waren letztes Mal schon so ein Schwein. Lassen Sie das. Entschuldigung, Sie kommen jetzt bitte mit. Der Kranz ist auch nicht mehr zu retten.
The annual Berlin event commemorates the failed 1944 attempt to assassinate Adolf Hitler.
Lassen Sie mich, zeigen Sie mich an. Hat doch einer gesagt. Sehr gerne. Habe ich noch Leute gehört. Zeigen Sie mich an. Ja.
So we're being somber because it didn't succeed, right? Proving that sometimes violence might be necessary.
Eine Demokratie bleibt nur dann stark, wenn genügend Menschen den Mut haben, sich einzubringen, lange bevor außergewöhnlicher Mut erforderlich wird. Wer in einer Diktatur Widerstand leistet, muss die Angst überwinden. Unser Auftrag in einer freiheitlichen Demokratie,
I'm not sure that you have any intelligence.
Dass wir nie wieder
What a dumb thing to say.
geraten, in der solcher Widerstand.
I cannot translate. I'm sorry. They didn't give me subtitles.
Es geht um den Widerstand.
Es mag ja um den Widerstand gehen, aber
Ja.
wir sind immer noch eine Demokratie und die kann hier
Eine rechtsextreme Partei. Die hat hier nichts verloren.
ja, Partei.
Das ist eine faschistische Partei.
Sie ist aber immer noch demokratisch.
Definitely calling him fascistic.
Entschuldigung, Sie
kommen jetzt bitte mit.
Der Kranz ist auch nicht mehr zu retten.
Kommen jetzt bitte mit.
Ja.
Ich lasse mich von Ihnen nicht als Schwein.
Lassen Sie mich, zeigen Sie mich an.
Hat doch einer gesagt.
Sehr gerne.
Habe ich noch Leute gehört.
Zeigen Sie mich an, gerne.
Which makes you wonder, are government officials one day going to gather in the field in Butler, Pennsylvania and lay wreaths for the failed assassination attempt? Okay, Bagheera, well, did you hear what Dr. Oz said earlier today? He wants to raise the retirement age, too. Most governments are proposing raising the retirement age. It's only the lefties that want you to retire earlier. Just throwing that out there for you. And as we bring up the remembrance of the failed assassination attempt against Adolf Hitler, I do want to point out one more time, I've said it so many times here on the show, the first people that the Nazi regime persecuted were trans people. They burnt down the Berlin Gender Institute. The next group of people they went after were the socialists and the communists, the trade unionists. That should fucking sound familiar to you here in the United States. It is the exact same playbook. First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. They came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. They came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. That is why solidarity is so important. I am disheartened by all of the bootlickers justifying the government shooting people in the streets, illegally detaining immigrants. And they do it on behalf of a fucking pedo president. Avalon, Lenny, Igloo. Welcome in. Good to see you, my friends. I drank all my tea. I'm thirsty. I'm going to hit the commercial break. I'll be right back. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked, sick aesthetic.
Not high enough for this shit.
I guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to JustinFREAKIN.
Hey there, y'all. We're about to get stupid, locked into what that news beat doing. Fu Manchu and a slick bandana, colder than ice, smoother than Santana. Audio, video, chat and calls. Right-wing nut jobs haunt the halls. What you wanna watch? Hey, what you think? And there's only one choice. It's JustinFREAKIN.
The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the call.
Light one up and tip one back. It's a right to be high. Let's grab a snack. It's fucking news, quit panic, attack, and play your cards right and get a titty slap. Jump in Discords, have some fun. The man will talk to everyone. Get high and try to debate. When shit pops off, chat thinks it's great. What do you think you're doing? Join the troll patrol. Wherever discourse is brewing, he gives it that southern drawl.
So let's go ahead and bring in Justin. Hey Justin, how's it going, brother?
First of all, I want to say you're poser South. I'm in Alabama. I'm the real South.
Okay, all right. So why don't you tell us what it takes to be a man?
Well, I don't know. I'm in Alabama and I'll fuck a man in a dress. Why won't you fuck a man in a dress? Are you that insecure that you won't fuck a man in a dress?
That's fantastic. So you're okay with that, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I be?
Right-wingers are morons.
Light one it and hit one back. One more clip before we hit the set. Set an alert when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high enough for this shit.
Kind of weird seeing myself with long hair and then bald and then seeing myself with long hair again and then all the different stages as I was growing it back out. That video's a trip. All right, earlier today, a man, apparently a former soldier, set fire on the steps of a courthouse where immigration proceedings take place. He apparently had some sort of anti-ICE literature on him. There is conflicting reports whether it was some sort of a bomb, an incendiary device. AP is reporting he used fireworks. To me, it looks like he just douses gasoline on the stairs and ignites it. What's happening this morning in New York City?
After smoke filled the outside of a Manhattan immigration court. In a statement, the FBI says a person with a history of, quote, anti-ICE activity set off what it's calling an incendiary device. Now the FBI's New York Joint Terrorism Task Force is investigating. Let's bring in Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky for more.
ABC put up a 360p video here on YouTube. I was wondering why the quality was so bad.
This happened this morning outside 26 Federal Plaza, which houses immigration court. It's also where immigration applications are processed, and it has been the scene of protest before. You'll remember elected officials have been arrested inside that building trying to observe ICE proceedings and immigration proceedings that have come under controversy of late. But it was on the north side of the building where this apparent smoke device or some kind of firework with an accelerant, an incendiary device of some kind, detonated. The federal police, which are in charge of securing the building, along with ICE police and the FBI, raced to the scene. They took an individual into custody. I talked to some police sources who said that this individual is known to them, known to have anti-ICE type views, may have even participated in protests before. He's now in federal custody.
You see a lot of barricades that were already there. Is there a lot of security around this building? What's that picture like?
That the barricades.
The federal courthouse in New York City.
Now, because that building has become such a focal point of immigration protests, so there is a ring of those fences around the entire perimeter of 26 Federal Plaza. Entry is controlled. And you see there that the device, that's the individual in custody, the device went off outside the building, but in a place where people would gather. So there were a lot of people there who were all pushed back. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like anybody was seriously hurt.
Glad to hear that. Aaron Katursky.
Yeah, there were a couple minor injuries, which if I had to guess, the dude wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He was just doing a protest. I do have better video. See him taken down by officers. I'm not sure what agency that is. Some sort of firework did go off. If I had to guess, I would say it would be a federal marshal that took him down. That would be who would be doing security for that building. Quickly got the fire put out. I'm sad. I'm sad this guy did this. They're gonna put you away for fucking years, and you didn't really accomplish anything. If you were motivated to take action,
Guys set off fireworks? More than fireworks, they were real.
Sabotage their vehicles.
This is serious stuff.
Yeah, I heard it when I was online, and it sounded like a hell of a lot more.
He threw Molotov cocktails.
A man apparently poured some sort of gasoline accelerant on the stairs of this federal courthouse. This is in Manhattan. This is the suspect being taken in. It didn't seem that he used a firework. This is the aftermath of the scene. This happening around 9:10 this morning. This is after the fire was set. We saw in the ABC News report a security cam video of him actually dousing the gasoline or accelerant that he used. He threw something else at the fire. That was probably the firework that went off there that he threw at the fire. me get a better version of the raw video, because the ABC version was in like 380p and looked like shit.
Some guy set off fireworks.
More than fireworks, they were really ammunition.
So this is, I think, from a security camera on possibly building across from the street. Maybe this is a still cell phone video. This is the beginning of the attack.
Guys,
He almost set himself on fire. Dumbass.
oh my god! Oh my god! Get away from there! Oh my god, get away from there! No, 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 get away!
What does she mean, get away from there? They're cops. They need to run. Run to it.
Oh my god!
The fuck?
Get away! Oh my god!
That idiot couldn't get through the barrier.
Oh my god.
God ain't gonna save you now, lady. So this one shows the beginning of the attack, but doesn't show the fireworks going off.
Insane. Crazy. Guys, oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Get away from there! Oh my god, get away from there!
I guess she's assuming there's some other explosion gonna happen.
Oh my god!
They're first responders. It's their job to run towards shit. Look at this dumbass not able to get over this barrier. Stupid cops.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess she's just witnessed something that's ineffable. She's got no other words other than, oh my god. It's probably really repetitive in bed, too. Oh my god. Oh my god.
This is
oh my god.
Crazy.
When she said that's crazy, it reminded me of the Russian girl we saw get arrested the other day that kicked the shit out of the cop. And they're arresting her. She's like, that's crazy. And then she takes the handcuffs off and just sits them down. She's like, they just came off. That's crazy. I love that video. I've watched it 1,000,000 times, other than the 5 times we watched it on the stream. I guess in response to this incident earlier this morning, the border czar, Tom Homan, spoke to reporters saying he's worried about ICE agents getting killed.
The training procedures changing. You talked about training the trainers. How are those training procedures changing? And
they're not changing. Training the trainers for the cameras. How do you operate the camera? What's the requirements? When do you turn it on? When do you turn it off? How quick do you need to store the data? How long is the data being stored? So there's a lot of work into this, and training the trainers. Once they get fully trained, they go to the field office with the equipment, and they implement and deploy it and tell people here's how you use it and here's how you control it.
Are there
So what's the timeline then for every immigration agent to have a body camera?
As soon as possible, if that my way.
So you're satisfied with the training right now of ICE agents? Nothing needs to be improved. Is
There's always room for that's a loaded question. There's always room for improvement. Things change all the time. FBI updates their training, DEA updates their training, every police department updates their training. Because ICE used to look, you can never be overtrained. I wish there was more training.
I think American people want the answer of when every ICE agent will be wearing a body camera. I know you said as soon as possible.
I want to know when ICE is going to be disbanded. I don't give a shit about their fucking body cameras.
I know they got the point.
Body cameras aren't there for us. They aren't there for the public. The proposition of body cameras is that they're going to be able to capture the evidence that they need to get a conviction. This dude has a hard-on about the fact that he's going to get to see more of what his ICE agents are doing. It's not going to deter them from acting any different. We've seen this with cops. It's not a deterrent. They act exactly the same with body cams, and it's disgusting. We've gotten to see it whenever we can actually pry the fucking footage from them. They'll release it anytime they think it makes them look good. We've seen that over and over and over again. But if it makes them look bad, good luck getting that body cam.
Schedule, and I know they got the equipment. That's a question for us. I'm not in the weeds that deep.
Is the administration required to turn on their cameras at all times during a traffic stop?
Yeah. Yes.
Or is the consequence if they don't?
More about the quantity of ICE agents over the quality of agents?
Say that again.
Is this administration more concerned about the number, the quantity of ICE administrations that have taken place over the quality?
I can't speak for everybody in the administration, but quality agents are very important. So it should be all. You won't give somebody a badge and gun. They need to be the best they can be.
So are there going to be reevaluations then of the hiring?
That's a question for ICE.
Is there any other procedure or protocol on the ground changing? Stops?
There's already, the director of ICE decided that there needs to be at least one body camera on the scene. And again, I'm a big supporter of the body cameras, and as more body camera gets out there, they all have them.
That's the only change.
But let's be clear, you can attack the men and women at ICE all you want. It comes down to one simple fact. These people fail to comply with law enforcement. Even some of the major chiefs in this country who don't...
Bitch, I do not give a shit who complies with law enforcement. ICE is violating the Constitution. Every goddamn day, ICE is violating the Constitution. I keep having right-wingers tell me to prove it, and I can. I can show you that the courts have ruled against ICE 4,400 times, at least, since February, that we know about. Number bound to be over 5,000, probably over 6,000 at this point.
Necessarily agree with this administration. It says you always comply with law enforcement. But
you always comply with the Constitution, you piece of shit.
Law enforcement agency. I see these signs that were resist. ICE are let's abolish them. They're fascists.
They are.
You keep that hateful rhetoric up for a year and a half, there's going to be that percentage of that population that it's going to be emboldened to take action because they're not real law enforcement agency. I should resist them. All they had to do is simply comply with law enforcement. If you don't like what law enforcement did to you, then go to the courts, sue, call the ACLU, do whatever you want to do. But you should always comply with law enforcement. If they did, they'd be alive today. Now, I'm not going to comment on the investigation itself. We'll wait for it to play out. This is about complying with law enforcement, and a lot of the negative hateful, and I said this a year ago, if a hateful rhetoric doesn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And unfortunately, I was right. And I'll tell you something else. It's not over yet. Unless they keep attacking and miscommunicating what ICE does every day, calling them Nazis.
They are Nazis.
To the Nazi regime. Are you kidding me? And I'm not saying the whole country is convinced, but there's going to be that population that's just going to embolden to do something stupid. And I'm afraid...
Have you tried not acting like Nazis?
That we're going to bury an ICE agent. I'm afraid I'm going to hand another folded flag to a spouse or a child of an ICE agent.
No, here's the thing, is you haven't had to bury an ICE agent yet because you're not going after the worst of the worst. You are preying on working people, on job sites. You're going after the easiest people that you can get. People that are working hard and following the rules, and that's how you're able to get them. You're not going after the gangbangers. You're not going after the drug dealers and the rapists and shit. Or otherwise, ICE would already have been shot. I know it for a fact. You Nazi ass piece of shit.
for simply doing his job. And for any member of Congress to keep attacking ICE and
Simply doing his job kind of sounds a whole lot like just following orders now, doesn't it, motherfucker? That's what the Nazis said. But you don't want to be called a Nazi.
And I'm not saying the whole country's convinced, but there's going to be that population that's just going to embolden to do something stupid. And I'm afraid that we're going to bury an ICE agent. I'm afraid I'm going to hand another folded flag to a spouse or a child of an ICE agent for simply doing his job. And for any member of Congress to keep attacking ICE and calling them fascists and Nazis, I said it 1,000 times. If they're a Nazi for enforcing the law, what's that make them? They wrote the law. We're not making this up. We're enforcing laws.
You're not enforcing the law. You're violating the law.
Appropriate us money to enforce. Now, I'll say it once again. If ICE agents acted inappropriately or illegal, they'll be held accountable, just like they were held accountable in Minnesota.
Bullshit.
Everybody, guys, ICE agents are mom and dads too. They don't hang their heart on.
Don't give a shit
to do this job. And it's just not attacking the ICE agents, attacking their spouses and children, and no one knows that better than me. I can't even go get a quart of milk at a grocery store without a security detail. Why? Because I'm enforcing laws in this country. It's pathetic and it's disgusting.
Oh my God, you can't get milk at a grocery store without security detail, paid for by me, so you can terrorize immigrant communities, you fascist piece of shit. Nazi punk, fuck off. Here is a Border Patrol agent terrorizing a teen, acting like a goddamn Nazi.
Sir, if I identify him and he's illegal, I'm going to have to take it. All right?
No way, man. You'll arrest a 13-year-old kid if he wasn't from here.
Well, that is a Border Patrol agent talking to a driver about his 13-year-old family member in the passenger seat. The driver was pulled over in Slidell Wednesday morning, and he made the snap decision to go live on Facebook. He says the 13-year-old is his stepbrother, and he's shaken after the encounter. It is also really not clear if this was a legal traffic stop in the first place. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sharice Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Rachel Hanley spoke with the
Just comply. Just comply.
Because he wanted people to see firsthand what can happen when someone is detained like this.
Wednesday morning, Alan Laureano pulled out of a work site in Slidell. His 13-year-old stepbrother was in the passenger seat. Right away, they spotted a Border Patrol agent on the side of the road.
I saw them. I looked at them like face to face for like a quick sec.
Then the agent started following him. He pulled into the racetrack by Fremont Town Center. Then he says the agent turned his lights on. As the agent got out and approached his car, Laureano took out his phone and went live on Facebook.
I feel like it's important to record. It's like see their interaction, like things that can happen.
In the video, you see the agent come up to the window and say this.
You got white lights on the back of your vehicle. Your reverse lights are on the whole time. So that's illegal.
Okay.
All right. What's your citizenship?
We showed the video to immigration attorney Michael Gahagan. His immediate reaction:
that was an illegal detention.
He says Border Patrol agents are not allowed to pull people over for traffic violations. In order to detain someone
and then ask papers, please, like a goddamn Nazi.
That was an illegal detention.
He says Border Patrol agents are not allowed to pull people over for traffic violations. In order to detain someone, they have to have reason to believe that person could be violating immigration law.
It would be like if I drove up by just me, a regular guy drove up behind you and saw something was wrong with I pulled you over and demanded your ID.
In the video, you hear Laureano tell the agent he was born in Slidell. The agent asks Laureano's stepbrother for his ID, and Laureano says he's 13. Then he starts questioning the agent back.
That's the reason you stopped me, because of my late?
Because he was racially profiling you like the Nazi he is.
Would you like to hand me your ID?
He did not.
I always said like to people like my mom, if they do pull me over one day, I'm not gonna make it easy on them. I'm gonna make it difficult on them.
You don't want to get your ID? I'm gonna play this your way, sir.
The agent walks away from the car and says he'll call Slidell police.
Okay. I'm gonna have your driver's license checked, and then I will check him, and if he's illegal, I will take him.
A few minutes later, the agent comes back to the window and references Laureano's stepbrother again.
Sir, if I identify him
and he's illegal, I'm gonna have to take him. All right?
No way, man. You'll arrest a 13-year-old kid if he wasn't from here.
The agent then goes around to the other side of the car.
Open the door.
He literally tried to like pull the door open, like, I don't know what, like take him out or what, but I locked the door real quick and just like put the window down a bit.
The agent asks Loriano's stepbrother the spelling of his name, his date of birth, and where he was born.
What country are you a citizen of?
United States.
Huh?
United States.
United States.
Kahagan says this part seems legal, but as a passenger, Loriano's stepbrother would have also been within his rights to stay silent.
But because it's a kid, he's going to start answering questions. Yeah, you got a gun and a 13-year-old kid? He's going to answer.
The agent leaves, comes back, then the live stream ends. Loriano says the agent let them go at that point. As they drove away, Loriano says his stepbrother was still nervous.
I was like, no, it's fine. Like, nothing's going to happen. Like, we're both, like, from here. We both, like, have the right to, like, you know, we didn't do nothing wrong. So I know he's not going to take you. And then I was there, so obviously I wasn't going to let nothing happen to him.
As of Thursday, the video of the encounter has been viewed more than 30,000 times. Rachel Handley, WWL, Louisiana.
We sent the video to Border Patrol and to the Department of Homeland Security that oversees Border Patrol. And we asked what the agent's probable cause was when he pulled Loriano over and whether he was acting within the agency's policies. They responded this afternoon, and they said in part that the agent, quote, conducted a vehicle stop based on reasonable suspicion or probable cause of federal law.
Federal law violations, bullshit.
The agent questioned the 13-year-old because, quote, it is important for agents to verify the identities of both the minor and the accompanying adult, as well as their relationship, as minors are often smuggled by people falsely claiming to be their parents. You can read the full statement.
It is important for agents to verify the identities of both the minor and the accompanying adult. I would counter with it is unlawful to have unreasonable search and seizure in this country. That's the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. That's why it is important that we stand up for everybody. Again, first they came for. Enforcing the Constitution is important. Don't be a goddamn Karen and threaten to call ICE on people. Like this airline worker did. Threatened an entire family.
Back home tonight from a trip to Canada. They just landed at SFO, where they say a United Airlines employee threatened to call ICE on one of them over a ticketing dispute earlier this week. The video of the incident has gone viral. NBC Bay Area's Tom Jensen is live at SFO for us tonight. Tom, is there really a threat that one of them could be detained?
Oh, that was one of the things they were concerned about. They haven't heard from anybody who said that they would not be detained. And it was really scary for this family of four as they headed home to SFO tonight. All quiet at the United counter tonight at SFO. Quite a contrast from Tuesday when the Varela family was trying to leave for a family trip to Canada.
What's your name? Because you're rude as hell.
Julio Varela says this United Airlines customer service representative refused to help fix an issue with his daughter's ticket, which had listed her last name as her middle name. After almost 3 hours, he says an employee from United Partner Airlines was close to fixing the issue, but he says that United worker stepped in to dismiss them.
You know, she walks over, she's like, what, you're still here? Like, we already told you we can't do this. And, you know, she just starts complaining about it.
Varela says by phone a different United rep told them to go to SFO early Tuesday and customer service at the airport would fix the error that his wife had accidentally made when they booked their flight a few months ago. But he says this employee insisted it was his wife's fault and she wasn't going to help.
She said, well, I don't care. That's her problem. Then you take it up with her. I don't care if you guys fly out today or not. And that's when I got upset. And I said, you know what? You are so rude. What's your name? What's your name, ma'am?
He says the worker refused to identify herself.
I'm asking you for your name so I can report you.
She then pulled her own phone out and started recording. And that's when he says she threatened to call ICE.
Because maybe we need to call ICE on you. You're not acting like a citizen.
The video of the incident has gone viral.
Maybe we should call ICE on you. You're going to call ICE on me? Oh, say that again?
Say that again? Maybe you need to be, because you don't act like a citizen. Get away. Who you calling?
Varela says he couldn't believe what he was hearing.
Which infuriated me because I am a citizen, number one. And for her to threaten me like that with ICE, especially with...
Even if you weren't.
The state of politics now in America and with what ICE is doing.
United Airlines has a racist customer service lady.
And after another minute or so of back and forth between the two, you see the United worker's hand come up and Varela's phone go dark.
No, you didn't help nothing, and don't touch me.
Julio says the United employee hit his hand and his phone.
And when she pushed me, it caused me to squeeze it. But then I realized I stopped it, and so I turned it back on again.
On top of being threatened with ICE, he says he was also assaulted. We reached out to United Airlines and the employees union leadership. United said, quote, "We're looking into the interaction in this video, but don't have anything additional to share at this time." And the union's communications director said the union is aware of the video, but has not verified its authenticity. He went on to say, as depicted, the comments made in the video do not reflect the views or values of the IM union. Any potential matters arising from this incident will be handled through the appropriate processes established by the collective bargaining agreement. Still, no guarantee from anyone that ICE will not greet the family on the return to SFO.
I don't even know what's going to happen when I get back to San Francisco. I'm at the airport in Montreal, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when I get back.
Be sure to give us an update.
Texting with Julio, and he said there was no sign of ICE. The family's back in their car, headed home to San Ramon. They're tired and just looking forward to getting some sleep tonight. By the way, Audrey also reached out to SFO, but have not heard back.
All right, Tom Johnson for us. Thank you.
Interestingly enough, a wrestler was threatened to have ICE called on his girlfriend. Ludwig Kaiser, who was the lackey for one of my favorite wrestlers, Gunther, but is now flying high as Mexican luchador El Grande Americana. Now, explaining this is a lot, right? So we've got a German dude who is now wearing a mask and acting like a luchador in Mexico. And while he was down in Mexico wrestling for AAA, which WWE now owns, he became romantically involved with one of AAA's commentators. So our German friend, who is playing a Mexican luchador, has a Mexican girlfriend, and he was apparently making out with her at his condo in Florida and had an incident with a man. A profane ICE-related remark sparked the violent incident that led to WWE star Ludwig Kaiser's battery arrest. The wrestler alleged in new court documents that were filed last week. Kaiser, whose real name is Marcel Barthel, wrote in a motion to dismiss his misdemeanor case that Richard Reep initiated their altercation on April 23rd after he got offended by the way Kaiser and his girlfriend had shown PDA in a community elevator at an Orlando apartment complex. As a wrestling fan, I didn't even go into the fact that there were two El Grande Americanas. Ludwig Kaiser's not the first. So just a couple of months ago, like the week this happened, was the week of the biggest match of this man's life, where El Grande Americana faced off against OG El Grande Americana in a mask versus mask match. And it was amazing. It's probably match of the year. It's so fucking good. But this happened that week, and there was some consternation of whether he'd be able to make it if they'd let him leave. Kaiser stated Reep told the couple to have some fucking respect before he alleged Reep hurled a vulgar comment towards his girlfriend, who's of Mexican descent. Have some respect before I call ICE on that bitch. The WWE star stated in his filing that he exited the elevator to tell Reap his statements were offensive and inappropriate. He then alleged Reap aggressively raised his hands and got close to him, which caused him to act in self-defense. Kaiser, in fear that Mr. Reap was going to batter him, pushed Mr. Reap away. Look at that face he's making. Kaiser claimed he then walked back into the elevator, but Mr. Reap approached again in a threatening manner, so he pushed him away once more. The 9-year WWE veteran alleged Reap threw a soft drink bottle at him during the dispute, but instead of escalating the matter, he stated he remained in the elevator and pushed the button for his floor and left the area. In his motion, Kaiser argued the battery charge he's facing over the incident should be dropped because his use of non-deadly force was justified due to the fact that he reasonably believed that using or threatening to use such force was necessary to prevent the imminent use of unlawful force against him or his girlfriend. That is Ludwig Kaiser against Sheamus. The judge was slated to rule on the motion at a court hearing on Thursday, though the matter was ultimately continued until August 27th. Reap, according to an affidavit for an arrest warrant against Kaiser that was submitted to Orange County, Florida court in May, told cops the professional wrestler roughed him up after he had merely told him and his girlfriend to please have some manners following their display of affection on the elevator. It was such a wonderful match, Avalon. Also, did I tell you good evening? An OG El Grande Americana lost, and he had to take off his mask, and it was revealed that he was Chad Gable. And now Chad Gable, who was a bad guy, he was the bad guy. Ludwig Kaiser was the good guy in the El Grande Americana feud. The OG El Grande Americana was doing it to mock. That's why he called him. It was after the whole Gulf of America thing. That's when they created this El Grande Americana. And it was to mock the luchadors. But then he got injured, and they had Ludwig Kaiser step in. And then they did the who is the real El Grande Americana. And it was so good. It was so good. But then Chad Gable, who was the bad guy, who was going after the luchadors and showing them disrespect, after he got beat by El Grande Americana in the mask versus mask match, and he had to unmask, and it was a whole emotional moment. They did it like old school. This was like a throwback to fucking wrestling 50 years ago. You'd have to take off your mask and announce who you were and where you were from. And he gave this impassioned speech. And now he knows how awesome and he knows the history of the luchadors and all the rich tradition. So now, since he's come back to WWE, he has been taking up for the luchadors. It has been such a good storyline. But they still got the German guy wrestling as El Grande Americano in Mexico. Zoran Memdani getting attacked from the right for wanting to enforce the law. It's weird to me that all the law and order motherfuckers, they're like, we're just enforcing the law. We're just enforcing the law. Well, they don't believe in the law when it comes to the International Criminal Court issuing a warrant for a war criminal named Benjamin Netanyahu. Zoran Memdani has said they will enforce the warrant issued by the ICC should Benjamin Netanyahu step foot in New York, and I am all about it.
When it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we're speaking about someone who's the subject of an International Criminal Court arrest warrant. And he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment, they are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also
maybe Donald Trump in the future
is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add on that.
Thank you. And now we're going to go to Heather from News 12.
Are you looking at arresting anybody else on that list of people who've committed international war crimes?
My point is that if someone is charged with a warrant by the International Criminal Court for these kinds of crimes, that's something I believe that should be honored. And I've also said that we will follow our local laws.
This is making right-wing heads explode. Let's go watch Fox News. Who, by the way, it has been all day. I had multiple Fox News clips I could have picked. Like, they have talked about this story. No, it has been all day, Ma'am Donnie.
Gotham City, the Mayor Z, receiving backlash as he says he is still looking at the possibility of arresting the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This would happen apparently during his upcoming visit to the UN General Assembly. That takes place about the third week of September. Listen here.
I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. Whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
Yeah, I love the Mayor Z thing. They're doing it to disrespect him, but it just makes him sound cool. Mayor Z. Llama, welcome in. Good evening.
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality.
Okay, what about that? Vicky Palladino is not shy. She's a New York City councilwoman.
Oh my God!
With me now, Vicky. Nice to see you. It's been.
Where'd you dig her up from?
Here, we're going to see an arrest, handcuffs for the Prime Minister come September.
Good to see you, Bill. No, this is.
Oh my God! The wallpaper of her house almost as gaudy as her god awful face. I'm sorry, I should not make fun of this woman.
For the Prime Minister come September.
Good to see you, Bill. No, this is an soft act of insurrection. He's really pushing his luck here. Tremendous.
What?
He doesn't know what he's talking about, but unfortunately, he thinks that he is above it all. He is the mayor of the city of New York. He has got no right to do what he's going to do. But listen, let's not
take this
lightly. You know, this
insurrection by following the law.
The idea that a mayor of New York City or any city actually thinks he has power over and above what he does, and he wants to come across like this king, let's just say, or the superior leader of us all, is absolute nonsense. And I really do hope, because this could be just what we need to get this communist out. He's pushing it, but the biggest thing for me is I don't want anybody to take this lightly. Do not take this lightly. His moves are calculated. He's not going to get away with it. But the fact remains is that a mayor.
Ma'am, you're acting like Zohran Mamdani is the war criminal, not Benjamin Netanyahu, who has an active arrest warrant for being a war criminal. You're talking like Mamdani is the war criminal here. It makes no fucking sense. This is through the looking glass. This is absolutely ass backwards, or bass backwards, if you will.
He has power over and above what he does, and he wants to come across like this king, let's just say, or the superior leader of us all, is absolute nonsense. And I really do hope, because this could be just what we need to get this communist out. He's pushing it, but the biggest thing for me is I don't want anybody to take this lightly. Do not take this lightly. His moves are calculated. He's not going to get away with it. But the fact remains.
Get away with what?
Mayor, 34 years old, no experience whatsoever at all. And the people he surrounds himself with, he's sitting there, he believes Netanyahu should be in the Hague. Give me a break, Zoran, really.
Some legal
should be in the hog. You don't even know how to say it. You have no clue what he's talking about, do you? This woman is an idiot.
And the people he surrounds himself with, he's sitting there, he believes Netanyahu should be in the Hague. Give me a break, Zoran,
Well,
really.
some legal analysts have said that you can't do it, so we'll see whether
like who
to that.
You can't do
Michael Waltz, the UN ambassador, said,
why can't he do it?
Theater. More to come on that. Meanwhile, ICE apparently is coming to New York. Tom Homan.
Why can't he do it? What? I mean, the fuck? The UN is in New York City. There is an active warrant from the International Criminal Court. Now, what somebody told me was that the United States doesn't recognize the International Criminal Court. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure the Nazis didn't recognize it either, but they still hung in The Hague, too. Sorry. I'm this old. Mike Burke over on the YouTube. Welcome in, friends. We have now identified the 2 U.S. service members killed by Iran over the weekend, or 2 of the service members killed by Iran over the weekend.
This afternoon, the U.S. is stepping up its response to Iran after the deadly attacks that killed at least 3 American service members in the Middle East. The U.S. military says 17 American troops have now been killed since the conflict began. NBC's Keir Simmons reports from Jordan.
Hey there, U.S. Central Command now releasing details of those U.S. service members killed in action here in Jordan on Friday and Saturday. CENTCOM saying that they were 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez. CENTCOM also saying that it is assessing unidentified remains found during the same attacks. That may be another U.S. service member killed in those attacks. Meanwhile, over the weekend, CENTCOM announcing the death of another U.S. service member in northern Iraq. That person hasn't been named yet, but CENTCOM says that it was while an Iranian drone was being made safe that had landed in that region, a region where there are also US bases. There has been a barrage of Iranian drones and missiles in this region. Here in Jordan, NBC News assesses that there were 28 missiles intercepted around the days of that fatal attack. 5 waves of drones and missiles in as many days. Over in Kuwait, they have been reporting Iranian strikes on a water plant there and showing pictures of people injured. That is unusual for Kuwait. Meanwhile, inside Iran, a 9th wave of strikes by the US against targets in Iran, including CENTCOM saying over the weekend that they were looking for swift punishment for that fatal attack on US service members here in Jordan.
So collective punishment
is escalating
against civilian targets in Iran.
There are glimmers of diplomacy, but
Trump wants to go to The Hague with Netanyahu.
To see at this point how either side, the US or Iran, finds an off-ramp to this current conflict. Keir Simmons, NBC News, Jordan.
I don't trust any motherfucker named Keir. Have you guys experienced the energy shock yet? Apparently gas prices have shot up around 30-40 cents, something like that, in the last week. Expected to rise even higher.
An armed
Don't yell at me.
Yemen aligned with Iran said on Monday it will impose a maritime blockade on Saudi Arabia, joining Tehran's efforts to throttle global energy markets in response to U.S. strikes. The Houthi faction controls much of Yemen's Red Sea coastline along a narrow choke point called the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a waterway that is increasingly vital for Riyadh, which has been diverting its oil exports to Red Sea ports and away from the Strait of Hormuz. But will the Houthi threat further constrain global energy flows? Iran's near-total blockade on the Strait of Hormuz for much of the year pushed Saudi Arabia to divert more than 70% of its normal daily crude exports to the Red Sea port of Yanbu. Data from Kepler and Signal Ocean show shipments from Yanbu averaged 4 million barrels per day in recent weeks. Ships from Yanbu bound for Europe go north through the Suez Canal. Those heading to Asia go south through Bab el-Mandeb. Data show total petroleum volumes transiting Bab el-Mandeb amounted to 7.4 million barrels per day in June, or about 7% of global oil output. It is not clear how the Houthis could impose a blockade on Saudi Arabia. The faction is a military, political, and religious movement fighting a civil war against Yemen's Saudi-backed, internationally recognized government for more than a decade. Beginning in 2023, Houthi forces attacked and even boarded international cargo ships in what they said was solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. The attacks severely disrupted global shipping. A U.S.-led mission to restore free navigation in the Red Sea involved repeated strikes on Houthi targets. Red Sea traffic has not recovered since. Data from the Suez Canal Authority shows traffic through the waterway down at its lowest in at least 50 years. In their statement, the Houthis' armed forces said they were declaring, quote,
"Calm your ass down, dude,"
against the criminal Saudi enemy based on the equation of an eye for an eye, effective immediately. They said the embargo was in response to what they called, quote, an unjust and oppressive siege imposed on Yemen by the Saudis. A 2022 ceasefire between the Houthis and the Saudi-backed government had held until last week, when Yemen's internationally recognized government said it had struck Sana'a airport to stop an Iranian plane landing. The Houthis said Saudi Arabia was responsible, and in response fired missiles at Abha airport in the kingdom's mountainous southwest.
Yay. Trump has the best judgment, doesn't he? He does the absolute best thing when it comes to foreign policy. He picks the absolute best people. All the best people. He has endorsed a crackhead for governor.
I was on crack.
Right. Well,
Honestly, I'm kind of glad we're not done with Mike Lindell. He's fucking hilarious. However, the Republicans in Minnesota are not laughing. They think it's going to cost them the governorship.
President Donald Trump's endorsement of GOP candidate for governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, is turning some heads.
That includes leaders within Minnesota's Republican Party. As Esme Murphy reports in this week's Talking Points, some are warning that this endorsement could destroy GOP chances of winning up and down the ballot.
The most powerful man in the world needs only a social media platform to create shockwaves. President Trump's social media endorsement of Mike Lindell for the August 11th Republican gubernatorial primary is doing just that, but in some surprising places. The chair of the Minnesota GOP, Alex Plekish, is blasting the president and Lindell, saying Lindell wants Minnesota Republicans to overlook his serious financial baggage. Minnesota cannot afford to nominate a ticket that gives Democrats an easy target and creates the very real possibility of another DFL trifecta. GOP analyst and Star Tribune columnist Andy Brem writes, "Please ignore Trump's endorsement of the My Pillow guy." Republican analyst Amy Koch says Republicans fear that if Lindell wins the primary and is the GOP nominee, Republicans could lose everywhere.
That all is not great news for down the ballot, is what we call it, for other Republicans. And for just from what I've seen, it will be a problem.
Is it fair to say Republicans in Minnesota are worried?
Well, I think that they're vigilant. Let's say that. Because we don't know what's going to happen in a couple weeks during the primary.
The political website Ballotopedia says President Trump has endorsed 227 primary candidates in 2026, and that 220, or 97...
If this primary has been any indication, Mike Lindell is going to be the Republican gubernatorial candidate. I thought he was batting 1,000. I thought it was like 227.
1% of those with the presidential endorsement have won.
This changes everything, doesn't it? Fundamentally changes the race on the Republican side for governor.
DFL analyst Abu Amara and other Democratic analysts believe with Trump's endorsement, Lindell is now likely to win the August 11th primary, setting up a possible feast for the DFL in November.
The question is the general election. Moving into the general election, I think Democrats are very, very happy at the prospect of Mike Lindell.
Okay, Esme Murphy joins us now. So going back to the GOP party chair speaking out against the president's endorsement.
Libertad says they're not lumpy pillows.
How does that happen?
I've heard mixed reviews.
I've been talking to a lot of people about this.
This is just anecdotal because we brought it up. I did the story about lumpy pillows, 3 years ago or something. And that video every now and again still gets comments. So half of the people say they're not lumpy, half the people say they're lumpy. I would say they're inconsistently manufactured.
President Trump has had such a firm grip on this party. He's had so much success that in most states and for most political figures in the GOP, they don't question it. This is very, very unusual.
And do you know, Esme, if there have been any polls that show how Mike Lindell would do against Amy Klobuchar in the general election?
You know, there have been more than one, and they all seem to show the same.
He gets stomped by Club Minimum. Club Minimum.
Lisa Demuth and Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell fares the worst against Senator Amy Klobuchar. Senator Amy Klobuchar beats all the Republican candidates, but Mike Lindell, she beats him by the greatest margin.
And then is it true that if someone's at the top of the ballot, that can really impact down ballot races?
You know, it really can. Some people, some candidates, the rare candidate can energize people and get the vote out, and that will help that party down the ballot.
Sure.
Also, what can happen is the reverse of that. Somebody at the top of the ballot can have people so discouraged or not wanting to take part that they don't come out and vote, and then that hurts all down the ballot.
GOP chair came out pretty strong. Has there been any reaction to him questioning the president and his endorsement of Lindell?
Well, he is taking a lot of heat on social media from fans of Mike Lindell and Mr. Trump. I mean, he's definitely taking heat, but there are a lot of people, operatives in the party like Amy Frederickson, who we interviewed there, who's been a part of a lot of campaigns, who says he is speaking for the Minnesota party. He has to back the endorsed candidate, who is Kendall Qualls. So he's getting it from both sides.
Okay, another new development. Thank you, Esme.
Usually getting it from both sides is a good thing.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Senator Kennedy, you nasty bitch. Lindsey Graham's sister apparently saying that she will seek a full term as senator from South Carolina, trying to cock block my girl, Nancy Mace, from becoming the senator from South Carolina.
Breaking news at 4 o'clock. South Carolina Senator Darlene Graham says she is running for
I thought Michael Jackson was dead.
the U.S. Senate. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Shannon Roy.
Oh, it's LaToya.
Graham made the announcement during an interview with Fox News scheduled to air tonight. When asked if she had made a final decision, she said, quote, "I'm in." Graham was appointed to fill the seat of her late brother, Lindsey Graham. Today, another contender entering the race to succeed late South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, and that's Congressman Russell Fry. He'll face Congressman Ralph Norman, attorney Duke Buckner, and businessman Mark Lynch in the Republican primary. Candidate filing begins tomorrow. The primary is set for August 11th. And we'll continue to follow this race as more candidates make their plans known.
Pantless, what do you mean? How does that work? I think Darlene Graham is going to be the senator from South Carolina, and I'm going to have to say goodbye to Nancy. I don't think she's going to win anything ever again. Unless she takes my advice. Hey, you know what? We called. She was appointed by the governor, Henry McMaster, and now she says she's going to run for re-election. So technically, the people can reject her. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins. Repent, turn to him, and you'll be.
What? So I was attempting to call Nancy Mace. And then somebody called in while I was calling Nancy Mace and said whatever that was. It's not giving, like, Nancy Mace's voicemail is not picking up. What the hell? I'll call her South Carolina office. Beaufort. I called it Beaumont the other day. I was like, no, Beaumont, not Beaumont, South Carolina. Beaufort, South Carolina.
Thanks for calling the Charleston office of Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Our normal office hours are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you'd like a member of our staff to call you back, please leave a message with your name, phone number, email, and address. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, my name is JustinFREAKIN. My phone number is 917-830-4359. You can email me at my freaking address at gmail.com. God damn it. Hold on, Nancy Mace. I will call you back. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Hey, Jesus Christ died on the sins, repent, turn away, and you will go to heaven with.
Why didn't you stick around and talk to me? I want to hear more about this Jesus Christ feller. You interrupted my call with Nancy Mace. I had a whole bit going on. And you didn't even stay on the line to talk to me. What a piece of shit. Yeah, Jesus died on the sins or something. Bondi, welcome in. I assume that was Afro Kiddo. Jesus died on the sins. Do you want to actually talk to me about Jesus? Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
You want to know more about Jesus Christ? Read your Bible. He died for you and he loves you so much.
Motherfucker, I've read the Bible and you probably haven't, so talk to me about it. What if I told you I am Jesus? At this point in time, if you're not going to talk to me, why would I answer? Sorry, Afro Kiddo. Simp, welcome in. Good to see you. I would have actually talked to you, but you're too big of a pussy. You gotta like hit and run or something. Fucking Jesus wouldn't like that. Jesus told you to take up your swords. You're out here running away. We are all Jesus. How did he die for me? Like, see, you can't have a conversation with me. Like, I would love to explain to you how fucking stupid you are. But you can't stick around and let me talk. Because I can prove that you don't actually follow the Bible that you profess to believe in. As I said, I've read it. You probably haven't. By the way, I've got a shirt on that has Socrates, says corrupting the youth. Love to corrupt some youth. You definitely sound like a young punk kid. I can't leave Nancy Mace unfulfilled. That's wrong of me. No, I think I called the wrong number. It's this one. It's this one. It's going to take forever to get back to the answer machine, isn't it? Oh my god, I can't stop it. I can't fucking stop it.
Thanks for calling the Charleston office of Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Our normal office
It's impossible.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yeah, that did it.
If you'd like a member of our staff
Okay, there we
to call you
go.
back, please leave a message with your name, phone number, email, and address.
Fucking annoying ass little kid. Hey Nancy, it's Justin Freakin from the Troll Patrol. Number's 917-830-4359. My email is myfreakinaddress@gmail.com. I just wanted to say, now that it looks like Darlene Graham Nordholm, or whatever the fuck her name is, Nordone, is going to be running for that Senate seat. There's no chance in hell that you're ever going to get elected. You flamed out during the governor's race. You lost your congressional seat. You've got no political future, Nancy, unless you take my advice and you come out as pro-trans. I can explain to you why you should respect trans people and treat them as human beings instead of attacking them and using them for political fodder. So hopefully you could have a real change of heart. But if you come out as pro-trans, you will be idolized by the shit libs on MSNBC and such. It'll work like a charm. They love rehabilitating stupid Republicans. So you should give me a call back. Let's talk some business. I can run your campaign. We can get you elected as a Democrat. That way you can get back in the spotlight, because that's all you really care about, right? All you care about is power and being famous, correct? You don't actually give a shit about policy. So get back in touch with me. We'll set your campaign straight, and we will get you reelected as a Democrat on a pro-trans platform. It's money, I'm telling you, and somewhere down the line, maybe I can take you out for dinner too. So give me a call back, 917-830-4359. Justin Freakin. Talk to you soon. Bye, Congresswoman Mace.
There's
Jeebus. All right, let's go to Chicago. A SWAT officer was shot. I do not know their condition at this time. One other person shot, possibly the suspect. Some sort of standoff situation.
Good afternoon. I'm Marisa Vader bringing you an update on breaking news we are following out of the Albany Park neighborhood. What started as a domestic violence situation around 11:30 today has now just wrapped up. We understand that SWAT is clearing this scene, but it has been a violent day on the 4600 block of North Springfield. We'll give you a live look from our chopper right now. This is the area in question. Everything happening on a home near east of Pulaski, south of Lawrence. What's important to know right off the bat is we know 4 people from this scene went to the hospital. 2 people were shot. One of those is a Chicago police SWAT officer who was at this scene. We understand that he was hit twice in the stomach and is now in surgery at Illinois Masonic. We know the other person who went to the hospital who was shot is
hit him,
who was in some way involved in this SWAT situation with the hostages. Again, 2 others also went to the hospital. We are still working out the details of exactly what led to this first call, how many people were inside, and what their conditions are at this hour. But again, from CBS Skywatch, you see the aftermath here in this back area. We watched over the last several minutes and hours as SWAT teams were stationed trying to get in. Here you see again them standing around, some shields leaning up against the back wall. Again, we're trying to figure out exactly what was happening inside this home and the condition of everyone else involved. I want to show you now some video that we have in from our crews who are working this scene. Here you see, if you look closely, this is a person who is in that home being led out by these SWAT officers. They are in handcuffs. We are working to learn their identity and how they may have been involved. But again, that video from our CBS crews on the ground. Here is a look at the scene in this neighborhood. And this is video of the SWAT officer who was shot being led by his fellow officers to an awaiting car before heading to Illinois Masonic Hospital. Again, the latest information is that he is in surgery right now. We know that he is 45 years old and has 20 years of experience with the Chicago Police Department. We want to now give you some more information about the treatment that not only these...
No, I'm going to cut to a more recent news hit. This posted about 50 minutes ago. ABC 7 in Chicago. This should give us the latest info.
Mark and Cheryl, a Chicago police officer, was in surgery late this afternoon after being shot while responding to a domestic violence incident. It happened this afternoon in this Albany Park neighborhood, which still has a police presence as this incident is being investigated. Now, just a short time ago, Chicago Police Interim Superintendent Fred Waller did confirm that the shooting was related to a domestic incident. He said officers found a critically injured woman outside the 4600 block of North Springfield Avenue. This was around 11 this morning. They gave her CPR and other aid and were told that a man had barricaded himself inside a home on the block with 2 females, 1 juvenile and 1 adult. SWAT officers were called and could be seen in the alley behind the home staging there. At some point, shots were fired and a SWAT officer sustained a gunshot wound to the stomach. He could be seen being supported by 2 other officers as he was walked to a nearby ambulance. And all 4 people were taken to Illinois Masonic Hospital, 2 with gunshot wounds, 2 with minor injuries.
As that scene continued to unfold, the officers continued to negotiate with that offender who was inside with the 2 females. He subsequently released the both females who were battered. And officers were able to negotiate with him, and he subsequently, without further incident, surrendered.
Now, that officer in surgery this afternoon, he is expected to make a full recovery. Police did take a person into custody. He was seen being escorted from the home in handcuffs. We are blurring his face because there have not been charges filed at this point. Now, back here live, investigators say that person is currently still being processed. That is the latest here in Albany Park. Karen Jordan, ABC 7 Eyewitness.
Fortunately, no good cop out of the incident. Same thing with this ambush in Florida. No good cop, unfortunately. Of course, Flo, welcome in. Body camera footage released of an ambush from Florida cops.
2 deputies ambushed and shot in the line of duty. A violent suspect killed and a Florida community on edge. I'm News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez. We now have video of the moment the 2 Hillsborough County deputies were gunned down, answering a call about an ex-boyfriend accused of holding a woman at gunpoint. We do want to warn you, though, that this video may be hard to watch.
Content warning, fuckers.
I'm hit. I'm in my car. I got hit in the neck.
That's the moment investigators say a Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputy was shot by 34-year-old Christopher Demonchowski. Deputies were looking for him after a woman told them Demonchowski, her ex-boyfriend, had held her captive at gunpoint. She escaped and went to the sheriff's office to report the incident. Deputies tracked him down to a home and used a drone to monitor the property before moving in. The sheriff says the deputies were ambushed.
What you can see from the body cam footage and the drone footage is that our suspect, punches his hand through the car so he can get a better shot at this deputy sheriff. And he opens fire as the deputy sheriff immediately gets out of the car. The car door's not even closed, and he's faced with a barrage of gunfire.
Dude sounds badass.
He is shot through his patrol vehicle. During this, another deputy comes up from behind and shoots Demonchowski.
As he's getting out, he sees our suspect firing on the second deputy. He opens fire, returns fire, striking the suspect multiple times.
Both the deputies, one hit in the neck and the other in the head, were taken to the hospital.
Hey, get us ambulance. Get an ambulance. You're good.
Demonchowski was taken there as well, where he later died from his injuries. We also know more about Demonchowski. We've learned that he was a convicted felon found guilty of evidence tampering in 2013. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Evidence tampering? Man, that's like only being charged with resisting arrest. How can you tamper with evidence? What's the other charge? There has to be something other that you were charged with in order to tamper with the evidence. Unless it wasn't his case. I guess that is possible. I didn't think that one through. He could have tampered with evidence in somebody else's case. Could have been on the scene of a crime and tampered with evidence. Yeah. I knew this comedian one time that got arrested for resisting arrest. And he goes in front of the judge and he was like, this is like the Mobius strip of arrests here. What was I charged with? Resisting arrest. What was I arrested for? He said that joke got his case dismissed.
Kennedy, thank you. Happening today, jury selection begins in the case against the Duxbury mother, Lindsay Clancy, accused of strangling her 3 children. She's pleaded not guilty to those murders. NBC 10's Christian Rapose is live in our studio with more on this. Christian, good morning.
Allison, good morning. That trial is expected to...
I don't remember the details of this. Is this the one where she had her husband leave? I think her husband had been there and she asked him to go get something for her down the road and she ends up strangling the 3 kids, or that could be a different. This is mom killing her kids actually happens far more often than you would think.
10's Christian Rapose is live in our studio with more on this. Christian, good morning.
Allison, good morning. That trial is expected to last months. It really just focuses on one question. Was Lindsay Clancy in control of her actions the night her 3 children died? 12 people will sit on the jury, but the judge is actually looking for 18 who can make a decision based solely on evidence. The question isn't whether or not she did it, it's if she understood it and if she could have stopped herself. Clancy's legal team says she had postpartum depression and was over-medicated when she allegedly strangled the 3 children. She then jumped from a second-floor window and is now paralyzed from the waist down. The decision of who's on the jury is that much more important because of the scale of the evidence.
The testimony will be incredibly gruesome and difficult to watch.
It's common to have a few alternates. It is not common to have 6 alternates. So what this tells me is that the facts that are going to emerge are going to be so egregious that there is a likelihood that multiple jurors, after they are chosen, may drop out.
Legal experts say one of the most important witnesses will be the father, Patrick Clancy, the person who found them dead. Jury selection could take up to 2 weeks. The trial
and his wife
last month
paralyzed outside the house.
NBC 10 News.
That's what she sent him to like Walgreens or something, because we covered this when it happened. I think she sent him to Walgreens, and that's when she strangled the kids and then jumped out of the window and paralyzed herself. Holy shit. She's still kind of cute. I can fix her. Maybe not her legs. I am horrible. Cancel Justin right now. I mean, she killed 3 kids. I don't. We as a society like to be very, very punitive to people. We think people should suffer. I think it's predominantly just humans, but especially in the United States. Flow. Sometimes when a guy goes to get smokes, he never sees his kids alive again, but not usually like this. The Tate brothers appeared in court earlier today. They are calling the charges bullshit, saying they're going to fight their extradition.
Social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate are being held at Miami's Federal Detention Center. Their lawyers say the brothers are victims of a, quote, stitch-up job. Authorities in the United Kingdom want both men extradited to face more than 30 criminal charges.
This includes rape, sex trafficking, assault, and child pornography. In court, the Tates began pushing for their release. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward is your reporter in downtown Miami. Larry, you were there in that courtroom with the Tates, but they didn't stay there long.
Lauren, it took less than 8 minutes. Andrew and Tristan Tate's attorney speaking for them, denying all allegations, asking for a conference with the judge and the prosecutors next Monday afternoon. That is where the Tates will begin pushing for their release.
Surrounded by cameras, they walked away from Miami's federal courthouse confident. Lawyers and a friend of Andrew and Tristan Tate believe both social media influencers committed no crime. They say neither deserved this public arrest by U.S. Marshals in downtown Miami over the weekend.
Oh, they absolutely deserved it.
Garbage. It's a stitch-up job.
Authorities in the UK say 4 victims came forward with accusations of rape, sex trafficking, assault, child, and extreme pornography. The crimes allegedly happened between 2010 and 2017. The Crown Prosecution Service already had a case against the duo for dozens of similar alleged crimes. This treaty between the U.S. and UK requires extradition with few exceptions. One says extradition shall not be granted if the offense for which extradition is requested is a political offense.
Is that what you're saying? Is
politically motivated?
I think any one of these trees, any one of these rocks could answer that question. Yes, it's politically motivated. There's no question about it.
3 days before this arrest, Joseph McBride's
No, it's not.
clients met members of Congress and friends in Washington, D.C. McBride says those visits and the Tates' views on masculinity led to prosecution. The Tates sell online masculinity courses. They have millions of followers, but they also have an open criminal case in Romania. In 2022, authorities there accused the brothers of rape, human trafficking, and sexual exploitation. Last year, Romanian investigators gave the Tates permission to leave. They landed in Florida, where state officials announced a probe into the brothers' activities. For now, they remain in federal custody.
The Tates lawyers do not expect a quick release. At 6, you'll see why. We're live in downtown Miami. Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
They've apparently got another hearing in a week, I think. Gonna do a couple more stories here, and then you know what? Let's watch El Grande Americana versus El Grande Americana from about 2 months ago, since we did the Ludwig Kaiser story. If you're on Twitch, we're gonna watch some AAA. I've psyched myself up for that match again. I won't watch it again. A temporary restraining order was granted in order to block the merger of Paramount with Warner Brothers, which would be horrible.
All right, let's get to some breaking news.
As if media consolidation isn't bad enough.
Sued to pause the $110 billion merger between Skydance and Warner Brothers. A judge has just granted a temporary restraining order on that deal. Let's go live now to our justice reporter, Jake Rosen, for much more about this.
Really hate what CBS has become under Barry Weiss. However, Mugo, still amazing, looking amazing. Major Garrett, still big old giant balls. Nathan, welcome in.
Jake Rosen for much more about this. Hey, Jake, so what went into the judge's decision?
Well, it was a very brief one, Mugo, just a couple of pages, but this judge said that at least upon the initial arguments that were put in court last week and in paperwork over the last week or two, that the states proved that there's at least a likelihood of success on some points that they were arguing. The biggest one is the monopoly part and the theater and movie function that these companies would potentially corner the market on if this merger were to be approved and not blocked by either this judge or any other regulatory panel. This judge said that just based on evidence, it would be about 27% of the theater and movie market in the United States would be cornered by whatever the resulting company is as a result of this Paramount and Warner Brothers merger. She says,
and this is after the Paramount Skydance merger that took place, what, about a year ago? That was the whole thing with Stephen Colbert and why he got kicked off. Maybe a little less than a year. Because they wanted that merger with Sky. Now they're wanting to merge with Warner Brothers, which is your HBO Max. All your shit on HBO Max would merge with your Paramount and into one giant corporatocracy, and it's horrible. It's so depressing.
That in and of itself is enough evidence to go on for this temporary pause. We should emphasize this is only going to be for 14 days. There'll be a hearing in early August to decide the next steps of this. The states are likely to pursue a preliminary injunction, which would likely go on for 60 or 90 days, or as the case gets litigated out. But this certainly puts a pause on what was likely to happen tonight at 12:01 if the judge did nothing, which would be that potentially these two sides would have at least the legal go-ahead to merge. And we should also just remind our audience that this lawsuit was brought by a number of state AGs who argued that across the board there's going to be, once this gets to trial or potentially a bigger decision, some kind of comprehensive proof that there is some kind of monopoly here. Talking about journalism jobs, talking about movie jobs, cornering industries in different states. That's why so many states are part of this lawsuit. However, just in kind of this emergency function that this judge worked in, it was a very limited decision, basically saying this is a 14-day pause. She'll get likely more briefing in the next couple of days and then have another hearing with more evidence presented by Paramount and presented by the states next week.
All right, we'll see what happens. Jake Rosen, thank you so much for
It's going to go through. And both platforms will continue to get worse. You'll have more remember the Batgirl didn't get released. They'd rather use it as a tax write-off than release the movie and shit. There's been a number of movies like that. We're finally going to get Acne, or Wile E. Coyote versus Acne or whatever. Like, that movie looks cool, but that's one that we should have got like 10 years ago. It has been held up because of one of these mergers that they tried to use it as a tax write-off or whatever, and the filmmakers somehow got the rights back. I hate the future. I hate Meta and Instagram. They're fucking bullshit. They're facing a lawsuit in Tennessee.
Tennessee state claims Instagram's design is to blame for a youth mental health crisis. Meta Platforms goes to court on Monday, one of several trials in the
they ain't wrong.
Testing allegations that the company's social media platforms were intentionally built to be addictive. Tennessee accuses the company of violating the state's consumer protection law by knowingly designing a product that drives teens to compulsive use and misleading the public about its safety. The lawsuit filed by the Attorney General's office claims Meta failed to disclose extensive internal research showing Instagram could harm teens, and that it continued offering features it knew were dangerous without warning users. A Meta spokesperson said in a
That's all capitalism.
that the company already has built-in controls to protect the hundreds of thousands of Tennessee teens who use social media every day. The company has argued the state's claims are based on the content posted on Instagram by its users, and that a federal law shields the company from liability for third-party content. The trial is slated to last for 7 weeks. It's scheduled to overlap with at least 2 other trials against the company in courts in California. Meta faces thousands of lawsuits over similar claims in both state and federal court. Nearly every state in the country has filed claims against Meta over its platform's alleged impact on children.
Remember how I said I don't think Twitch is going to exist very much longer? I don't think Facebook's going to exist very much longer. And it made a huge bet on AI that it lost bigly on. On top of all the legal exposure that they have currently with these lawsuits. Crazy weather across the country we're having.
Wild weekend of weather that we had, from violent storms and deadly flash floods nationwide to Canadian wildfire smoke in multiple states. You could smell it, you could see it. Maggie Vespa is in Chicago. They've been dealing with smoke for days.
Hey there. If you didn't know any better, you might think that that kind of haze behind me is just like a beautiful morning fog, but no, that is once again Canadian wildfire smoke blanketing the skyline of Chicago. We got a brief break from the smoke when it kind of cleared out on Saturday, only for another round of this toxic haze to move in again yesterday. This as dangerous storms were firing up across much of the country, with millions across North Carolina and Virginia pounded by heavy rain and damaging wind gusts. Meanwhile, out west, we saw dangerous flash flooding in Utah with a wall of water overtaking homes and buildings. This after a wild weekend. In New York City on Saturday, fast rising floodwaters swallowed subway stations underground and streets above. There's crazy video even of 2 men stranded on top of a box truck. And then in Maryland, a home's roof caught on fire after neighbors say it was struck by lightning. So lots of cleanup really happening across much of the country. And then back here in Chicago, with this smoke still hovering in the air quality alerts have been extended basically throughout the entire day today, with experts recommending people limit time outdoors as much as possible. Back to you.
This is fine. This is fine. Here's some monkeys. Been a really uplifting show today, hasn't it? heavily focused on the Nazi takeover of the country, ending with a little taste of the climate change disaster. We had cop shot, but no good cop came out of it. Oh, he's got a baby. At least we can watch some good wrestling. Twitch people, we're going to watch some good wrestling. We're going to watch El Grande Americana versus OG El Grande Americana. I think it has a fantastic video package that's going to catch you up. I think it was match of the year so far. I completely enthralled by it. So, Twitch people, stick with me. We're going to watch some wrestling. YouTube people, podcast people, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun for you at the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live. YouTube is gone.